great draft.
It also is... The crazy thing about doing the Kassadin pick is it's going to be Sivir Karma. Okay, it's a lot of wave clear. It's going to be...
It's a lot of movie fast.
Yes.
Fasty move.
But the weird thing about this for Bulldog is picking Kassadin face up like this with the Cassante and then, you know, taking away one mid pick in the Yone is basically just saying, Bulldog, you are, weirdly enough, one of the best laners right now in terms of early game and pushing advantages. Like, in a few years, he could be Chovy, right? If he continues to grow very quickly. And you've given Bulldog the opportunity to say, what's your answer to Kassadin to actually lane early when Kassadin is at its weakest? And he says, I'm going to all in with Tristana. We're going to win the game early. Got Wukong to help me out.
Yeah.
And we're just going to try to snowball this game super quickly. We have a Varus pick. I think this is definitely going to be the lethality variation, where Quantum Freaks are going to try to win the game very early and just make it impossible to come back. Shut down side lanes. They have the Jax pick here. I think the draft of KT Rolster can work, and it is very much the stronger draft in the late game, but surviving until that point is going to be a very uphill battle. We'll see how Bulldog fares in comparison to players like Perks and Larson, who have picked this one up in the mid lane. Both of those games were losses in the LEC. Bulldog, a rookie player, but amazing at his early game laning. I'm really excited to see how this one pans out, Atlas.
Yeah, me too. I was going through his solo queue, man. I was trying to find the Tristana. It does not exist, but there is a heck of a lot of Kassadin games, and I think he knows that it can be pretty frustrating to go against that Trist in the mid lane. Very interested to see whether the Trist debut is going to work here as we jump onto the Rift for Game 2. All right, and here we are, onto the Rift for game number 2.
We've had some discussions about the Relic Shield start here for the Karma, where you can stave off the pressure early, delete those minions, get some extra health regen because you're going to need it. Nice try, Lens. That second part of the activation.
Gonna get some cash money though. Feeling good about that one. Is Young Jay walking over reward? I believe they know that it's there.
Yep, they pinged it. You can see that above the ward. And you know, the early game here for the Karma Sivir is just sit back and kill the minions, and agency is low, unless there's a big mistake made by June and Taeyun here in the lane. Taeyun, with some flashy debut games when he first was playing for the DRX roster, we saw him play the Varus, if I'm not mistaken. Also, a lot of early game Aphelios was very impressive to see from him. He's a player who is really good at laning when he has the strong side matchup. It hasn't been given it too many times this season. Played mostly the Zeri. It's 0-2 on the Ashe. 80 carry, so yeah, very different look for him this time now that he's given the Heimerdinger lane into a Karma Sivir.
Yeah, I think that this lane should be very comfortable for Quantum Freaks. Of course, Karma, decent laning, but not the same as the Heimerdinger, and the range advantage that Varus has over Sivir really should help push them into the forefront. This is also, like you say, going to be the more auto-attack focused variant.
Well, I thought maybe it would actually be lethality here, just for double comet, extra pressure, but they end up seeing the Karma and they're like, I don't know how much value we'll get out of that necessarily here. We'll see what he builds, because we have seen lethal tempo into just the lethality build anyways. I think it depends on their lead.
Oh, wow, okay.
Well.
And remember at the beginning of the season, we saw Heimerdinger on like a 4-game losing streak, and now he's popping off 6 in a row. It's like our players are learning the value of Heimerdinger in real time, Wolf, and it's great to see.
Yeah, I think it's a lot about the lane matchups too. This is what you were talking about, picking the Sejuani early with the Wukong available. Wukong can bully with the winning bottom side, and that's exactly what Youngjae is looking to do here. Deny the blue buff.
And he can do it, because look at this, like BDD taking so much damage.
Perma Pro.
Explosive charge, yeah.
He might all in him here in a second if BDD does not respect. He has not used his dematerializers yet. He just has to back off.
How many plates does Bulldog get without Rift Herald in this game?
I'd
think
say at least 2.
Well, BDD is in a lot of trouble. Cuz is moving on in, but the flash does come out. There's the rocket jump, and he gets Goomba stomped!
But
It's not Bulldog, it's Mario!
Yeah, he just doesn't respect it, Atlas. I was like, does he all in? If BDD doesn't respect it, BDD says, I'm not going to respect it. He all ins. Guess what? Tristana can go over that wall without a flash. So you were never safe. You just wasted your flash. Tristana follows. She's got flash for a follow-up all in where you can't flash.
You said flash a lot of times, Wolf, and all I saw was a dead BDD and a great start for this Tristana in the mid lane. Another thing that makes it very curious that Taehoon hasn't gone towards lethality.
Hey, look at
they've
this.
got an 80 carry.
Yeah, I mean, he has...
What's better than just 2 that are auto-attacking all the time? Seems good.
If he has so many opportunities for explosive damage in the early parts, but I guess they just want to shore up some of the damage problems later on. In terms of range, is Doodoo.
Doodoo. Okay, just wants to get an Empower. So this is Grasp on the Jax as well.
I could see from here Valdez rolling his eyes. I could see it.
Well, Bulldog is just destroying this turret as, rocket jump.
Sidesteps the stun there.
Yeah.
Clean.
And it's been 713 days since Chovy played this when he was on Humble Life into an Azir. So, a couple of years ago was the last time we saw this Tristana, some of the dark technology utilized by Chovy when he was on that team.
It was very popular in the LEC in 2021 and a little bit in 2022, but never really took off in Korea. Yeah, this is...
How are you supposed to play this lane?
This is why the Kassadin has a specific place right now in our drafts. It's in the second ban phase because you don't pick him early.
Well,
because there's too many options, and you don't pick him after the second ban phase because he gets banned.
But we saw what happened yesterday, right? And the Yone is considered a decent matchup into it, and we saw that not necessarily work out. We saw the Yone banned, but I'm like, why not just ban Tristana? She seems way better as Lehens is going to come on over. There's the interruption as Bulldog may have to flash this time. He does so, but Permafrost is built up and BDD will get some revenge. So maybe that's why the Tristana isn't picked up, because 3 versus 1, she's just not good enough.
Yeah, and this is unfortunately, I think, a little bit on Youngjae here. Not actually there to help out his teammate. He's down here to see if he can make something happen.
He certainly is. Piercing Arrow going to come through there. I believe W empowered also. Very nicely done. But they get the flash out of aiming. They get the ghost out of aiming. They do not manage to get the kill. So KT feeling a little bit better after that particular exchange. And the kill gold going over to the Kassadin, absolutely huge.
Massive. Does pick up the Catalyst now. Still holding on to one of those dematerializers. Also can afford a tier with some of that extra money. So he's on his way to the Kassadin build. There is only one Kassadin build. It's only one way to play.
Yeah, and it's the Kassadin build that was always the Kassadin build, and then they took out his item, so they took out Kassadin, and they put back in his item, and they put back in Kassadin.
You know, in advertising, usually the thing that you use is like, so much versatility, so many ways to play, so many different ways you can do this. Like, build your own sandwich. With Kassadin, like, you don't want any of that. There's one way to play, and it's busted. Yeah. There's one way, and you're going to do it, and you're probably going to win if you don't lose really early. And
if you don't do it, you're going to be like, why is this champion even in the game? It just doesn't do anything. I don't understand.
Well, the 2 plates we were talking about at minimum, we're already kind of cresting the 3rd here potentially.
Yeah, that was my estimate. So at 7 minutes into the game, halfway to plates falling down, he's already almost got there as rocket jump comes through. Bulldog is very comfortably able to make it back to his tower.
Yeah, the silence just doesn't last very long. Bulldog can easily rocket jump away as long as he has advance notice. This lane continues to be a 20 CS deficit. So 2 lanes where you have Prio, you've turned it into a lot of plate gold for the Tristana, and you've stacked the first rake. So far, so good. Minus, yes, they did overextend in mid once. But it's okay, because the job is still being done here by Bulldog that he set out to do. Could he win even harder? Probably, but he's winning hard enough, and he's winning. So.
Yep. And Tristana also scales exceptionally well.
Yeah.
It's another reason why it's considered a decent pick into the Kassadin, because if you get to level 18, you have like a billion range, and you can do a heck of a lot of damage from relative safety. As there is the front flip utilized by Bulldog to get himself out of there.
Just respecting the range of Cuz's ultimate here at level 6 very well. Just goes down through the river instead of going back to the mid lane. Comes over here, catches the next wave. It's just like, if you're going to hang around, Cuz, you're just wasting your time.
Yep. one of the really cool things about picking Tristana Varus in this situation is you've got the classic Sejuani composition, right? Where KT's, I want to pick as many melee champions as possible so I can activate the permafrost. We're going to check out Bulldog getting closed in on by everyone.
Yeah.
Like Lahen's flashing in the way to make sure that they get the snare.
You know, we could, if we wanted to get really technical, if he saves his flash, it's a better scenario, but was hoping he'd get out there. Really nice play from Lahen's, though, with the roam.
There's that third play as Bulldog, once again, rocket jump, gets himself to safety is cuz Arctic Assault on Detain gets his flash, actually, as that's a lot of damage onto the Piggy. Throws out an ultimate just in solidarity. I like that, you know, gentleman's agreement. It's like, well, you threw yours, I'll throw mine.
Yeah, June comes down here just a little bit too late to try to catch, stun him up with a grenade or anything like that. So pretty huge to have the Varus flashless here before this next objective fight will be the Mountain Soul, or Mountain Drake, excuse me, for the second Elemental. And, I mean, small win here for KT. Your whole game plan as KT is not to lose the game by, you know, 15 to 20 minutes. And you've lost a lot of money. You certainly have as KT, but this is normal, right? This is exactly how this is supposed to go. And I don't think by any means the deficit here for KT is not recoverable. Like, this is about average, I'd say, with this kind of draft, with how well Bulldog's executed it, how well the Varus lane has pushed. And this is why we like this draft for Kwangdong and how much potential it has. You know, things can get worse for KT, and if they do, that's when we have to start worrying. But right now, still just going to be probably a 2 Drake stack against you. Herald goes over. That's okay. You don't want to fight yet as KT. Yeah,
and the cool thing would be is if Kwangdong rolls the nuts and they gather a Hextech Soul. Double static Shiv on these massively attack speed heavy carries is a very frightening prospect. I mean, Dudu as well. Technically Wukong as well as Jun's flashing. KT looking for opportunities, and this is what the space was talking about, right? KT not really finding any avenues into this game, into the last game, and then sort of gave up even trying to look for it. And we can't see that happen from KT again as Bulldog's going in. He's looking for Lahen's right now, just ignoring BDD because he can. Buster shot was weird, but that was because of the heal.
Well, that's a whole turret.
Meaning that the calculation wasn't going to work. And yeah, Rift Herald's going to go down. So my estimation of 3 plates was actually 5.
Well, I think
shame on me, I guess.
Well, I mean, I think you were still correct in how we got him in the early game, right?
Oh, that's true. Unassisted. Is Young Jay going to have to worry? Trickster gets himself over as Cuz is flashing. There's the flash, but he still gets hit. Oh, the heal's too good, though. And now Young Jay's going to get the double knockups. Bulldog is looking for even more. The resets are coming in. And Lahen's doesn't have heal this time. Press the attack is stacked. And now Aiming is going to try and answer this. Bulldog's pretty strong, though, so he's going to have to run. Not enough ricochets here, as now he might be able to close in. Not sure about that one there, Bulldog.
Hey, we'll give him credit for all the parts he did right before that, though, Atlas.
Hey, yeah, there we go. I think he had an explosive shot, and he wanted to stack it up and thought he might be able to get the kill after he saw that the spell shield was down.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely what he was thinking. Keen was also coming down, though, and June's not going to be able to offer much there, unfortunately, so...
Oh, my goodness. The amount of plates that have gone down this game would have sold out IKEA, Wolf. 100%.
Let's watch this one more time here. Look at Lahen's health bar. It's super low, and they decide, okay, we're going to go into Young Jay. And he unfortunately gets healed up. And look at the trade back damage here. BDD is made of whatever is like lighter and like wimpier than paper in this game. He just explodes. He's like a dried leaf in the wind. And he dies instantly, and then Bulldog overextends here for this one. Keen's coming down, so Jax gets some pressure top side, but...
Oh, no. Okay, so he didn't have the explosive shot on, and so there was just a little bit of Bulldog expecting that he wasn't going to be able to make it out. And now Lahen's going to take the Heimerdinger for a walk, but oh my goodness, the Sejuani's dead! Extraordinarily quickly.
And we have to ask the question... We came out of a replay, but why is KT fighting?
Oh, it's another fight against a Cassante near a turret. Dudu presses Counter-Strike and sidesteps the Q pretty nicely. These minions are frustrating. What's this turnaround, Dudu? Leap Strike, is it going to be back up in time is the question. And the answer is no, we're just going to hit the turret. We'll get another plate. Crockery is the goal. and I respect it.
Lehen's coming up here to try to punish, though.
Okay, taking Jax for a walk this time around. Is aiming, throws out the boomerang, and Counter-Strike yet again. This time it's not going to last long enough as Bulldog's looking for another turret. So how many plates is that?
Look at Taeyun in the mid lane pushing an inner turret during this as well. Like, this is a huge win. 3 people to kill a Jax who almost gets a solo kill, still gets plate gold, and then a whole turret goes over to Bulldog, his second of the game, and Taeyun is able to push all the way down to inner here on this Varus and take a massive amount of gold while Cuz is just desperately catching minions. And yes, Guangdong Freaks will get a little bit of pressure on this top turret, but they can't take the whole thing down. And so this is still a huge win for Guangdong Freaks on both sides of the map, or all 3 really lanes.
Yeah, all 3 sides of the triangle map, Wolf.
Yeah. As going back to this scenario here, definitely a big overextension. And KT, why fight against the strongest point of the game for your opponent while you're at your weakest state? To stop Drake stacking is the answer. That's why.
And like, unfortunately, it's not right. What you did in game 1.
Yeah, it's not the right call here. This was beautifully played from Dudu. Actually, the Counter-Strike absorbing all this damage. Now he's vulnerable and Keen goes for him. He dodges this one and then flashes the Q3. That was so beautifully done. Unfortunately, doesn't have his Leap Strike to get the kill. And then he gets to collapse some, but it's still a win because he grabs a plate. And look at the minimap, where Varus is pushing mid and Tristana gets bottom turret.
Yeah, and Tristana, I think, gets 3 plates in that point in time. So technically, it's 4 plates for a kill onto Jax and a couple of plates, I think, afterwards. As Youngjae is going to look to interrupt Cuz, does so, doesn't find the knock-up with the Cyclone, which is a little bit of a shame.
It was kind of weird, too. It was like Cuz it looked like he was in the animation, but he's not get hit by it.
Yeah. An odd situation, one could say.
Look at the control of the map.
Corruption going to get dashed by one of Kasante's abilities.
Keen is just getting bullied here. They're trying to find value in this mid lane. Dudu can shut it down.
Dudu's like, I'm just passing by, guys. Just passing by. Please, I don't want any trouble. It's Cuz doing exactly the same thing. Ricochet's not going to interrupt the Jax this time.
So we have looks like it was about, 15-ish minutes on this Rod of Ages here for BDD. So he does have that now. It's not the worst possible time. We have seen worse. But it's going to be a while before he comes online here in this game, even with the kill he picked up earlier on.
All right, Bulldog is looking for another target. The charge is going to go off, but not exactly fully stacked or anything like that, so Kasante going to be fine.
Look at Taeyun. Look at a Varus push up to inner turret.
Yeah.
Again.
When is a Varus that safe ever?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, now Youngjae's making his way in, and KT with 4 members, they can't dive Dudu again because he has 1 friend. And maybe they'll turn it around because Bulldog's teleported in. He's finding free autos now, and he's shooting so fast with the rapid fire cannon. Enforced alcove gaming here for KT as Cuz is just limping away from this fight. BDD is going to die as an afterthought as the reset comes through. Bulldog grabs the pickup. He's going to let his team take care of the rest of it as he's just jumping a billion times. God, I love this player. Guangdong Freaks is so good.
I'm so glad Taeyun didn't steal the kill after having no part in that entire exchange, just pushing mid. AFK! He's like AFK mid.
Yeah.
This is Guangdong Freaks. The comp is so ahead that Varus' job is just to push mid.
And now we know why he took lethal tempo, man. So that he could do as much turret damage
as that's
possible.
The real reason. That's the real reason.
Although I think that the lethality build would have done fine damage to Charos, but never mind. Still think it's cool. I mean, gets to shoot it faster.
This draft from KT was greedy and disrespectful. We saw the punish come through with an unusual pick of the Tristana. But the Jax has such a big part to play in this as well against the Kasante. You could shut the Kasante down. You could side lane by the Kasante later on too if KT somehow miraculously recover from this 10,000 gold lead. Look at what Jax could also do defensively in this 4-man group up. What are you hoping for? What are you trying to achieve here as KT? Trying to get money on this Caston, but you've pushed so deep. The Buster Shot just pushed him into the alcove. It's not the alcove for gaming that you want.
Bulldog's hit by 2 auto attacks or something. This entire exchange, he's just taking, just walking with everyone.
He's a slinky going up the stairs.
Yeah, he is, actually.
A slinky going up the stairs. That's what he is. That's not how slinkies are supposed to work.
That's not how they work at all.
That's how it works in this comp.
Oh man.
와 진짜 미쳤다.
This is
Steve
a
Max like,
very
that's
happy
crazy.
Stevie
This
Max.
is crazy. Like, he's super happy because the draft of KT was disrespectful. He had the answer. Bulldog was ready to play it, whether he's played it in solo queue or not. Maybe he's played against it, as you mentioned, on the Kassadin, knows how to play the Tristana well enough to hit these all-ins, push this Kassadin down, and then bounce around the map. And Guangdong Freaks have now hit the point where I talked about earlier, like KT, like, oh yeah, this is about normal, 2,000 gold down, it's not the end of the world, there's still a way to bounce back here if you play it right, if there's some mistakes, some extensions. Now, this is unrecoverable.
Yep.
This is no longer a winnable game.
And Wolf, I did it. I found a game that Bulldog was in where there was a Tristana in the mid lane. He was playing the Kassadin.
Okay.
And he got smashed by, I think it's Nongshim's Academy player, which is not Challenger, it's Academy.
Was it Calix? Who just recently became a Challengers player who was at the Academy mid laner?
It says Nongshim Kolmi. But
Not
it's
sure.
in Korean, so I'm not entirely sure. Jisung might know
Call
something
me.
about-
Call me, yeah.
Oh, call me.
Yeah, he just got replaced
it's
by
just-
Calix.
Yeah, sorry. So it is their Challenger mid laner. And he smashed Bulldog. And they'd have a lot of experience playing against one another, Bulldog and Colmy, so that's cool. Yeah, and Colmy actually was the guy that really impressed us in Challenger as well.
Yeah.
My ability to read Korean characters is sometimes a little bit of a problem. As Kane fighting a shadow of a Wukong.
Well, it's okay. I think you've had a pretty good read on this game so far, and I don't know if there's much else to say about it,
Yeah, I mean, me and really good reads, Wolf, because we're staring down the barrel of Max going 0-7. Sorry, 0-5.
0-5 so far.
0-5 so far. But it feels like 0-7, That's how egregious my lack of being able to predict has been thus far.
So the 4-1 here with, the base of the best turret damage you can ask for outside of a Ziggs with this Tristana.
I'd almost argue better.
Better in this game state, for sure. And then a Jax pushing with impunity, and you just rotate the Varus mid. Like we can be in all three lanes and take a Baron. That's how far ahead we are. The Jax just adds so much to this comp, though.
Is this the classic 20-minute Tristana Heimerdinger Baron?
Yes.
Oh, man. We
Bulldog
should have
asked,
known.
Bulldog was like, we can't do it because I wanted to solo it, like solo queue, but you ruined it. So we're just going to cancel that.
Yeah, it's like when your Master Yi goes AFK because you interrupted him trying to solo the Baron.
As I make this point about the Jax, like, you see Jax disappears off the map, KT realize, okay, they're doing Baron, they push him off the Baron, then guess who goes straight back to the bottom lane? Dudu, he's pushing this through.
Lurks out of the shadows, slinks out of the shadows, sorry. Bulldog has an Infinity Edge. I think that Baron is
I
sweating.
think you definitely could take it. At this point, they're going to grab red buff here for Taeyun real quick. As KT just have no real deep vision here, going to drop that control ward in and get the, at least for now, good news. As KT loves to buy a bunch of control wards, very famous for that this season around objectives. You can see the inventory is getting filled up with them right now for who can afford it. Just hoping to come in here and creep through this vision, and maybe somebody overextends. Maybe Tristana goes in and is blown up. But I mean, there's not a whole lot of blow up damage here, to be honest with you, on the side of KT. 2-item Sivir.
Yeah, it's not quite there yet, right? I mean, there is still that, I don't know whether it's like Monka W looking at the watch right now. It might be a different emote looking at the watch. But I mean, I think the Kassadin should hit level 16 in this game. I just don't know whether it is going to be enough to actually affect the outcome of said game.
Yeah, if you asked me about a minute ago if he would hit 16 this game, I probably would have said no.
But if Guangdong
will.
Freaks don't, keep pushing and keep suffocating KT out, then this composition certainly does do things late game. I mean, it's Sivir and Kassadin, right?
Yeah.
They should never get there, right? We need to add that it should never actually happen. And once again, we're going to see
this Baron.
Yeah, the Infinity Edge really does sort of help lock this one down. And Guangdong Freaks, by the book, they push them out and they go to the Baron. They guarantee it. They have so much damage in order to take it down.
What they can do is put Jax with this Baron buff on top side and allow him to push this inner. He can team it down.
1-3-1 with Tristana Jax. You're feeling pretty good about that.
Exactly. So you put the Jax top side here. There has to be a reaction or he will kill an inhibitor. And then you push bottom side here with the Baron buff, and then you have a free dragon. It's going to be the Ocean Soul they take here at about 23.5 minutes. And it's just checkmate, essentially, macro-wise here for KT. not that the game is over. I mean, it essentially is, but KT will get one Elder fight here in about 5.5 minutes time, or maybe that casting comes into play. But again, he's sitting at level 13, and if inhibitors go down, which looks very likely at this point from this Baron buff, you're just never going to be able to walk towards the Elder.
Oh, I mean, Bulldog is so dead. Like, the most dead inhibitor turret I've ever seen. And Taeyoon's here as well. Look at how many auto attacks he's got. He's got his Rage Blade stacked up. There we go. Inhibitor goes down. Bulldog can move to the next lane that he wants to obliterate. Dudu is taking care of business towards that top side, and you can't even go near the fence. KT are getting shot within their own fence, Wolf.
Yeah, it's messed up, man.
They're saying, get off my lawn, but the other guy has the shotgun. Like, what's going on here?
It's no longer your lawn, KT Rolster. It's been annexed.
Yeah, it's not great. Is Jun also in a rough... never mind.
He's the same level as Cuz in this game.
Who is this guy?
Cuz and Jun are on the same experience this game.
And
level 11.
I just want to shout out Kevin Kim as well, who tweeted today just saying how excited he is to see Taeyoon and Jun performing here in the LCK. Really felt like they did great things for DRX, and we've been saying this a lot as well. But his timing for the tweet, which was just before this series, I don't think could have been any better.
Nope.
So definitely deserved shout out. As Inhibitor goes down in the mid lane, and the top lane should follow as well. Like, this is an absolute shellacking. And it's not even just KT messed up and they didn't, like,
they messed up a draft
the thing right. But they messed up the draft. They went straight into whatever Quandong Freaks wanted to do. But Quandong Freaks also had an amazing idea. They had this guy in the mid lane willing to make this Tristana look completely busted in this matchup, as the explosive charge is continuing to just destroy these turrets. Kane getting a decent knockback, but I mean, at this point, I think the minions are going to be too strong. Youngjae fighting against Kane, and the turrets are just falling. Taeyoon getting these autos down right into the back line goes Youngjae, but the Nexus is dead, and it's a 2-0 for Quandong Freaks. Look at Bulldog, he's so happy, man.
Very well-deserved 2-0 here. KT Rolster with disrespect in the draft. And finally, Kwangdong fans have something to celebrate tonight as KT loses in a 2-0 upset. And both games, there were some draft problems for KT, but in the second game, they walked right into it. You picked red side, and you picked your solo laners before the second ban phase. You went way face-up into this, while also giving a prio bottom lane to Kwangdong Freaks. I mean, the disrespect couldn't have been higher. And KT, I think, came into this game and said, we're going to execute better. We're the better team. It's going to be okay. And it absolutely wasn't. And Bulldog just took this Tristana pick and shoved it all over the map, destroyed all the turrets, so they got all the plate gold. This is a definition of a